Hello, everyone. Welcome to the November 7th South Trevane Township Planning Commission regular meeting. We'll start off with a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Limited agenda tonight, and we have the first item is public comment time. Is there anybody here, I don't think, from the public that would like to make a comment? Fred, you should have been here for one, you want to make a comment?
Well, no. Especially when you're holding the hand.
Yeah, I'm down here.
I'm sort of bound here.
Oh, I guess not. So, in that vein, we'll move on to item number 3, which is consideration of the planning commission regular minutes, which I have not looked at yet. I'll glance at that quickly. Are there any questions or amendments or changes needed? I don't need them.
Make a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I was not here, so I can't.
Okay. All right. Number 4 on the agenda tonight is consideration of an application for final land development for Panda Restaurant Group to construct a restaurant property located on Old Mill Boulevard, more specifically known as parcel 600 blah 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 in the C2 zoning district. Is there anybody here from representing Panda?
She should be on. The next one I'll call it Copper.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that for sure.
Sorry about that.
All right. Moving on to number 5, we'll skip over, come back to 4. Consideration of land development for Who Brews J at 1 LLC, a drive-through coffee shop, 7 Brew, on property located on Old Mill Boulevard, more specifically known as parcel number 600 blah 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 C2 zoning district. And I guess we're looking. Everybody here for oh.
Yes, sir. That would be me. My name is Michael Sotis with Steckbeck Engineering. Here to represent that plan for Hebrew that was submitted.
Bring examples.
I did bring some things for you. Coffee, more so paper than coffee.
Okay.
But no, I wish I had some. This is actually our first go around with them.
Oh, okay.
So where you're getting our feet wet, I have never been to a 7 yet. I know there's one close to where I live. But I haven't physically been in one.
Where's that?
I live down towards Lancaster, but I know there's one in Allentown. So it's
You're all the way up here from
Allentown. Yep.
Yeah, kidding.
Yep, I've been doing this for Dollar General for a long time now. I'm doing it for 7 Brew. But anyway.
Welcome to Washington.
Yeah, thank you. This is not my first time over here.
No,
I've got a
okay.
couple of Dollar Generals. I don't know if you guys have seen a Dollar General, but
Yeah.
there's a chance.
They're everywhere anymore.
There's a chance we may have one.
3 miles.
But anyway, as far as the 7 Brew goes, this particular project is located in lot 3-1-R1P of the Old Mill plan of development. Was fairly recently created, I believe, just this last year. So it is the lot in between the Panda, which I think you guys are familiar with already, and the Chipotle. So our lot would be directly adjacent to where the existing Chipotle restaurant is. As of now, there is a shared access drive proposed between the Panda and our own lot. But the use itself is about 540 square foot, give or take. I think it's slightly smaller than that. But it's a drive-through only coffee shop. So there's no indoor seating or outdoor seating proposed. Their business model is to serve as many people as they can.
This rendering, it does have outside.
So yeah, they're rendering, that is their stock photo. That's, those benches you can pick up or drop. I think if it's in a pedestrian heavy place, they may consider, some outdoor seating. But for this particular store, it's my understanding, no outdoor seating is proposed, as of right now. So it's solely 2 drive-through lanes and a bypass lane. Their model is to get people through within 4 minutes. You pull in, you order, you're out 4 minutes. So from a site design perspective, we're showing 13 parking spaces, including 1 handicap space, and that's solely for the, it actually, I mean, typically ordinances aren't designed assuming there is no seating. It still meets your ordinance criteria. I think we're required to have 5 spaces in the absence of seating at all. So we're in excess of that. And the reason for the 13 spaces is there's typically 6 per shift. We want to be able to park both shifts during the switch. So the stores themselves are open from 5:30 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night.
Can you go in these stores at all? You know, because people, I'm just giving you an example, Chick-fil-A has 50 cars in line. Some people do say, yeah, I'm gonna go park, I'm gonna go in and get my seat.
Right.
I didn't. Is there any provision for that, or is it strictly?
As far as I know, no, the only service window is for the vehicles themselves, for the people that run out to the cars and bring the drinks.
Yeah, but you can't go in, you can't go outside.
Yeah, I believe they have folks outside.
Yeah, they have 2 drives to
Delivery.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, I thought that's it. So they can just, they'll deliver it up to you.
yeah.
So any kind of other coffees, right? Pastries or anything like that?
No food products.
No food.
No, it's all drinks. It's, they have slushy type drinks or iced coffees or regular coffees. But it's solely beverage.
Yeah, and how do they, how is the pay? How do the customers pay?
To be honest, that I don't know. I haven't gotten that far into it as far as what kiosks are like, or if it's like, Chick-fil-A where they have kind of a tablet that you pay right there, at the person. I can check and find out for you.
Do you know if it's, if there's cash payment, or is it only by, credit?
That I don't know. It's a good question.
It must be like a drive window to pick up your coffee, right? Or-
No, they said people actually come out and do coffee. You know,
It could be,
it looks like there's a window here, but the second lane has to have, somebody has to be out there to bring it, somebody has to bring it out in the middle lane. You know, the far outside lane.
yeah, there's no.
Drive, it just has to. The only other question I have is, with regard to that third lane, which you said is just a.
Correct.
How is, there's something in their application that states that will never be used as a service lane? Because that, in the intent, but I just want to make sure that the intent is what the plan is.
Nothing that we've provided on the plan so far that restricts that from becoming another service lane. We could add something to that effect.
Does anybody have any general questions?
No, I'm just wondering about, the Chick-fil-A is pretty stacked up there sometimes. I don't know where this place would be.
Up the street.
Coffee comes in a lot quicker than chicken sandwich.
So I know their typical business model requires
They have,
a minimum of 14
yeah, they have a service.
stacking spaces. So a minimum of 14 little stacks. I think this one's significantly higher. I think we're
That should be,
in the mid-20s.
if not, you'll get cited. Which they will do.
Right.
It's really for the trash.
But obviously, it's a coffee shop, so you're gonna have your peak during the early morning hours.
Right.
And then a steady flow throughout the remainder of the day. driving by that complex there, it seems like I don't think anything else near us would really have much heat in that really long time period.
So the intent for it says it's a rear load garbage truck. So are they gonna back in if it's a rear load to empty this? Because I would think that with a dumpster, usually they're front load.
It's probably gonna be a front load,
Because
so
it
that's just a standard, turning template for CAD. I don't have one for a front load truck. So it's just the wheelbase to show that that truck can get in and maneuver through that.
Because if it's, I mean, even if it's front load, they're gonna have to back out. They're either back in.
Right, exactly. Exactly, but more than likely it'll be a front load. And from my understanding that at a normal site that happens twice a week during those off-peak hours, obviously they're not scheduling for a time where the parking lot is full of cars.
I'd like to have that corrected on there because it does say rear load.
I don't know what kind of template you guys are using, but like this 15-foot radius around the back, it just seems awfully tight. You know, these big 4x4s, they can't make it, you know. But they'll be out in this bypass lane. They come around after they pay or make their order, they're gonna have a hard time making that turn.
I mean, we can show, we have a turning template for, it's basically like a Suburban.
Yeah,
We can show that on the plan, but I think they can make that maneuver. I mean, that is the idea. So you pull out and basically you're in the bypass lane to exit.
right.
There,
Those are great examples.
for the dimensions.
So we're 12 and a half foot.
foot,
Oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, the layout plan will show that.
Okay,
You see a 16-foot lane is
20 foot.
Yeah, so it widens out to get out of there, it widens.
Yeah,
Right, so this 20 feet is what allows something as big as a Suburban to make.
Correct.
Okay.
So far we've gotten our review, from Scott, on that plan. The one thing, aside from that review from KLH, probably have a copy of, is a request. So one of the first things I think in Scott's letter, identifies it was reviewed as a preliminary plan, due to the stormwater aspect of the plan, not qualifying for that, whatever it's called, the expedited review or the modified review process. So the only stormwater, just to clarify, that's being proposed as part of this plan is conveyance, pipes and inlets to get water from the site to the centralized stormwater facilities, as part of the old mill overall development. We had submitted a modification or a waiver request to effectively combine the preliminary and final plan processes so that we don't have to basically talk through this plan, get a recommendation and an approval of the preliminary plan, and come back and do the whole thing again through the same plan. So I don't need a recommendation tonight for the plan itself. If you're not comfortable with any of the items we talked about and you want to see some of that stuff addressed, that's fine. I did want to discuss that request though of the modification to combine these processes and basically cut out any unnecessary
We can discuss that.
process. But aside from that, we have our review from the county as well. They had no comment to any effect. And we can run through Scott's letter if you'd like. I don't know how you typically.
We'll just ask Scott what he
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Go ahead, Scott, what's your?
Well, they have addressed most everything that I had, other than a lighting plan. We're still waiting for that. And, I think that was about it. That's what they're lacking right now is a lighting plan.
So as far as you're concerned, there's no extenuating circumstances that we need to be aware of or coming.
Right.
So everything's, would be, if we approve the final, it would be okay with final.
Okay, it's not,
Everything's
it's not the way that the ordinance lays that out, but
As I read, Mr. Makel's
Yeah, I was reading.
comments, did I understand correctly that if there are corrections to be made, that that might preclude doing preliminary and final? And right now, we see that there's no lighting plan, and sending this as a final to the board of supervisors with corrections to be made, in other words, with conditions, a conditional recommendation of approval.
Right.
With things to be changed before it goes to the supervisor. As I read that, it sounds to me like that's not an appropriate use of the waiver.
Correct. So basically, as you're well aware, most situations regarding selling, unless you have a preliminary, you have a final, which goes through that process. You can, there's language in your ordinance that appears to allow you to do it if it's a simple situation, if they address all your concerns up front, but if they haven't addressed all your concerns up front, then I wouldn't recommend that you do it, okay? Now, keep in mind, he cited a section, I believe, I think what it was, Article 10 waivers, but that Article 10 waivers actually deals with physical conditions. So that Article 10 doesn't support his request, but if you have questions or you have concerns or there's issues that have to be addressed adequately, then I would suggest you don't do the preliminary and final at the same time.
Okay, and right now, the agenda doesn't say anything about preliminary and final, just says consideration of a land development.
Correct.
And, I'm not sure what kind of a motion, what kind of an approval are we making? We're not approving, according to this, we're approving the consideration, which doesn't make sense to me.
No, that probably should be a preliminary.
Well, when I talked to Kristen about the situation, was, when it first came out, question was whether there was going to be, question what the law says, what your ordinance provides. So we left it open that way, so you can do either preliminary, or if you felt you could do both at the same time. So the motion is basically, the agenda item is giving you that leeway. So I think Act 65 of 2021, if you want to make a motion to only grant preliminary, then you can do that at this point.
So the only thing is the lighting situation.
Is that correct? The only thing that is a hang up right now from the final is the fact that there is no lighting plan.
Correct.
And that's my apology, it's forthcoming from the
Yeah, I
architect's
understand
side.
that, but once again, if we do this, if we make a recommendation with something missing, and under the assumption that it's going to be there when it goes to the supervisors, I'm not comfortable with that.
And I would agree with you, because I had that same situation where planning commissions were making approvals with conditions, and no one ever followed up on the conditions, and now I have litigation out the wazoo,
Yeah.
Union Township. So again, from what concerns you have, I would not recommend preliminary and final because of that light plan not being into
And I have concerns too, as far as if we did do that, then it's setting a precedence, and we're gonna get into something that we were getting into that caused us to not do preliminary and final.
Well, that'd be
It depends.
a little bit more
It depends on the
complicated. Something as simple as this, that
Yeah.
if we didn't have it, if we had the lighting stuff, everything was there.
Right, but it's not all there.
No, that's right.
That's where
That's
my
right.
concern is.
Exactly.
And
Just
then-
one thing, two things, it'd be 20 things.
Exactly, yeah, Jay, and that's all the
Yeah,
point
I
I'm saying, if we, even though it's just that one thing and we let it go, then
Yeah.
somebody else is gonna come in.
I got you. All right.
That's more.
So it sounds like you'd be comfortable with it if we had a lighting plan, as far as the waiver request goes.
Yeah, well, yeah, because that would be the only thing that.
So what if we table the plan this evening, come back next month with a lighting plan and request a recommendation of the final plan?
Why would you not just do?
Why would you not just do preliminary today and
And then come back
then
again?
come back for final when you have the lighting?
Yeah, so it'll be the same thing anyway.
If we do preliminary today, then we have to go to a supervisor's meeting.
No, you come back to us for
Come back again for
Okay.
Yeah,
final.
same thing, then you go supervisor.
And I assume if you're from Lancaster, is it okay if you can do this from, do a Zoom situation?
Yeah, I mean, if that's all.
So I didn't know that was an option.
Well,
Maybe
now.
She was here last month for her preliminary. She had really not much to change, so that's why she asked for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the rest, and I think we can look at the
If that's
preliminary.
the case and doesn't call an extra meeting, then by all means, that sounds like.
We'd have to come back anyway. so.
Yeah.
And it is appreciated you being here.
Well, I would have came anyway, to be honest with you, for the first meeting, I prefer to be here in person over.
Mr.
Zoom
Mayor,
call.
will we need a motion to change, to amend the agenda item to
Make
say
it
preliminary?
No, I think your motion would
Just
be
make the motion.
Just make a motion.
a motion to grant, if you so choose, to grant preliminary approval based upon conditions A, B, and C.
Okay, in that case, then we'll look for a motion.
I'm not ready to, I got a question here on this retaining wall you got on the back.
Okay.
Okay, on the detail, it just says the height varies. I mean, is it height from 5 to 8 feet?
No, it's about 2 feet at the most.
Because it doesn't look like 2 feet on the plan. I mean,
So
on the retaining wall detail. It's a railroad ties or block. I mean, I think it probably ought to be block. I mean, railroad ties aren't really, you can't get them anymore even.
Yeah, that's right.
So on the grading plan, good sheet 5, we have spot elevations and labels on those contours that clarify the retaining wall. So at the middle is at the highest, you tie in on the edges.
Yeah,
So it's about a foot over there, and then, yeah, your top of wall is 1145, bottom 1143. So it's
oh, that's,
2 foot at the most.
yeah, okay,
So effectively a design build retaining wall for
yeah.
the landscapers. Consult.
Yeah, my tie wall, my timber tie wall is not looking too good after
Yeah,
27 years.
not too good. And you can't even get railroad.
still there.
ties.
Well, kind of.
Huh?
Well, no,
No,
it's an old railroad tie wall.
There's
I
one
don't know,
timber
we have
that's
to carry
complete.
those around, because they couldn't get them. You just
Right.
can't get railroad ties anymore. Or if you do, there's so lot out already, the railroad's still in the way. you know.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. I know we.
yeah, I didn't realize that was that shallow. I didn't see this grading plan.
Yeah, it's bare, I mean, we
Yeah.
proposed the wall so that you still have a reasonable slope there that you can mow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not much of a retaining.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
Just curious about the hours of operation.
Yeah, so 5:30 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night.
It's enough to keep you up past it. Okay, anybody, any other questions from the board? Concerns, comments? The chair will request a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to recommend preliminary land development approval for Hoop Brew PA 1 LLC to construct a drive-through coffee shop 7 Brew on the property located at Roosevelt Boulevard, more specifically known as parcel number 600-003-00000020-18 in the C2 zoning district, subject to the engineer's comments regarding the lack of a lighting plan and any of the other comments made by the members of the planning commission.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Disapprove? No. See you in a month with the lighting plan.
All right, yeah,
Scott.
appreciate your time. I will get it to you before then, hopefully, but,
Okay, good, thank you.
yep, thanks, everybody, nice to meet you.
Oh, that promotion did say of the comments from us, so please correct
Yep, I have
the rear
it.
loading.
As far as the turning templates and the truck, reference all that, yep.
You know, those are all a part of that motion.
Noted, got it.
All right, thank you. All right, back to the, and Express. Oh, Sean now?
Hello.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys
Here.
can hear me.
Shirley, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me or no?
She's cut.
No, there isn't. Just- Yeah, let's pick up.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can. Sorry, Julian.
Okay. Hello. Thank you all for letting me join through Zoom. I don't know if you guys want me to go through and give a brief overview of the project again. I know you guys have the plans in front of you.
That'd be good.
So-
Real brief overview again.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so we're requesting final approval for our plans. Is for the Panda Express. I believe this is the lot that's just adjacent to the one that you guys were just looking at for that 7 Brew. But it's a 2,300 square foot Panda Express restaurant with 47 proposed parking spaces and 2 proposed ADA. We'll have the drive-through circulating through the lot, and then we'll have 2 entrances, one off of Old Mill Boulevard to the west, and then one off of Old Mill that's on the north side. We'll have a cross-access drive that'll be shared with that lot adjacent to us for their future development. There was previously a sign variance requested and approved just for some additional lockups for the signage, just based on the peculiar, I guess, shape of this lot, with making sure we have signage that could be seen from each access road, just noting what site we are. This is part of that Old Mill development, so it's part of the planned PUD in here. So all of our utility connections are already stubbed for stormwater that is already accounted for in their regional detention system. And we did work with them to verify those capacities and that we're using the outlet as expected. You guys should have our full plan set here, including the demo, the SCSC, our layout, drainage, storm, landscaping, and photometric and accompanying details. We aren't requesting variances on anything else besides the signage that I had mentioned. And yeah, so let me know if you have any additional questions.
But your review,
They've taken care of everything.
they've taken care of everything.
The last meeting.
Any questions, comments from the board?
Usually involves.
Oh, yeah. I know. I like seeing myself. I don't.
We're gonna have a little up there.
Your wallet size.
What's that?
Do you have a wallet size?
Maybe we can see a lot with that.
Fred, you see anything on here that concerns you?
No, I don't. My reading glasses are too weak anymore. Full size.
You want full-size plan? I got about
Yeah,
five
I'm
of them.
over here. That's okay. I don't see anything there.
You want?
Not yet.
What
I
is-
really do.
That's it.
Well, at least.
Is that all right? Oh,
The world according to Dark.
My trees.
serious.
My trees.
That's a long
Just
time
clarify
movie right there,
that
buddy.
They only have one service lane, and second lane is specifically a bypass lane.
The Corps of Engineers with the whole team. They have this no choice.
Singapore resident.
Jill, did you hear
Out of
that?
the country for 6 months.
Was the question about one service lane and then a bypass lane?
Is that specifically that there is only service at the drive-through window and the other lane is a bypass lane? You're not just
Correct.
gonna be like Chick-fil-A where they have people come out and serve.
Yeah, no, that's not the intention, for the initial opening. If demand does warrant a need for a second drive-through lane, the site is designed so it could operate such as Chick-fil-A with that second lane being open, for cars, but that is not the intention, for the startup of it, so.
I think that if we do intend to change to that, there should be some process with the township.
Yeah.
To make that,
Oh, yeah, they'd have to come.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
clear that, it's not something that's being approved at this point, because the drawing didn't clearly indicate that it's a pass-through.
yeah. So as of now, it is only intended as a bypass. If they do in the future, they will come back to make sure that it is to your guys' standards and that it could be used for that. But that's not the intention as of now, so.
Make sure that's in there. There's no visibility issues with the signage along Old Mill. There's a freestanding sign. It's not interfering with visibility. It doesn't look like it to me.
For our site sign, we only have the one that's up on the north side of the site at that entrance. And I don't believe there's any visibility issues caused by that, so.
Visibility issues. Yeah. I did have one other thing. I see where your trash enclosure is and you have the entrance. I assume that will be done during off hours, trash removal.
Yep. Yes, that is the intention. Trash and all deliveries, for truck unloading and would be in off hours.
Any other questions, concerns?
No,
Okay. If there's no other questions, concerns, the chair will entertain a motion for a final land development.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second the motion to,
Did I make the first one? Yes, I made the first one.
At least he will entertain.
oh, well, entertainment, okay. Well, Then I'll entertain the motion. to,
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Any against? So moved then. We'll send it to the supervisor. Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
All right, last on the agenda is motion for adjournment, unless anybody has any other questions or comments.
Did you have, you were talking with me before the meeting about, the Dix?
Kristen is looking into that, okay, as we speak.
It's still in front, like it's.
Well, we're trying to figure out how it got. We got it. And they were just trying.
It seemed to like happen.
Yes,
Well,
well, they were given, they got a building permit, right? They got a grading permit and a building permit.
But it never showed
I don't know how
up.
that happened without that.
It never showed up as supervisors that I know of. So.
We never,
Unless it's a car wash we don't know about.
what was,
Were
what
they
was
part of
this?
the
I missed-
original
I missed the
plan?
couple meetings.
the Dix new building.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they never were here or the supervisors before they started, that before they got a building permit and a grading permit and a building
Well-
permit for that, as far as I know.
Well, that's why I was just saying, that thing looks like a goddamn penitentiary, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't even know why they didn't.
Well, we
use
don't
some
know.
kind- Some kind of variegated block or something, it's all that gray block, and it's too close to the road. I mean,
Well, that's another, we never saw it.
Never saw it.
We never saw it.
I was thinking, I said, I don't remember ever
We
seeing
never,
that.
well, nobody
That was
remembers.
under Brandon's, administration, right? And so, we don't know what process he used
Yeah,
If any.
to have them given a.
So Chris is looking in memos and trying to find,
because I know some of those Bix now are going into like a little different facility.
That's
They have
where
an outdoor.
it's a new concept, it's a
area,
new
a
concept.
Yeah,
you know, and they were gonna, there was something here, because they were closing the Bix that's over there by Office Max and everything when they finished this
Right.
out.
Mhm.
But I remember there was something being discussed, but we never saw any plans or
No,
anything after
That was
that.
my question the other day. I said, you know, Tom and I were talking, but we're building. Did
Yeah,
I miss this somewhere? Apparently, I didn't. So.
what's the
Oh,
story with
remember.
Menards?
I think, of course, at least in the next year, right?
They still, the last time they talked to Jordan, they still plan to do it, submit for building permits next year.
Yeah, this is
Anytime
early.
now, start construction next year, but we haven't heard from them recently.
Yeah, they want to be open by fall, I think.
Oh, and the other thing is,
They say which fall.
Jordan brought up Snuffy last time.
Oh,
We haven't heard from them.
Haven't heard from them.
Good. Because I'm already hearing from the neighbors.
No, we haven't heard from them since before last meeting.
Okay.
Okay, well then, I think we're done. So,
That's it.
thank you, everyone.